to be here with all of you. And it's great to see some familiar faces and some new faces. Just as we jump in, I had a calendar invite that runs for 90 minutes. However, I thought you guys wanted an hour. I just want to double check on what everyone's committed to time-wise before we jump into this conversation.
Technically, we've committed an hour and a half, or we have an hour and a half, but if you run it an hour and there's time for questions, that's totally fine too.
Okay, cool. Cool. Well, that gives me a great place to start from. So for those of you that are joining us via online, I would invite you to turn your cameras on, and that will be a gift that you give to yourself in attention and intention. It also supports me in feeling like there's real people in the conversation versus boxes with pictures. So thank you for that. And then for those of you that are in the room or online, regardless of where you're streaming in or sitting in, this is going to be interactive today, and we're going to start off just right out of the gates being interactive. And so my intention for today is to have each person walk away with one thing that you're not able to stop thinking about and solving for when you leave the conversation today. So I'm going to say that one more time. My intention for today is that each person walk away with one thing that you're not able to start thinking about and thus solving for on the other side of this conversation. So there's a saying that where energy goes, attention flows, and the inverse of that is true, and that what you focus on will expand. And so it's an interesting situation right now. My mom was in for kind of pretty serious surgery on Tuesday, and so she had so many nerves leading up to it for the last several weeks, and she's been prepping, and we finally had a conversation, and I said, Mom, did I ever tell you my snowmobiling story? And this story, and the reason why I'm going to tell it to you, is it's a great example of where your attention goes, your energy goes, and then you'll create based on that in your business and in your life. She said, no, you never told me the snowmobiling story. And so I said, well, it's February 2008, and I'm in Oakley, Utah, which is about an hour outside of Salt Lake City, up in the mountains. I was there for a leadership business retreat, and we were at this fantastic 120-acre property with, there was like 50 of us staying on site. It's someone's cabin in the residence. It's obviously it's a cabin, let's just say, that has an L-shaped garage that you can drive through on a snow machine, and they have 15 snow machines in the garage with all of the gear, the heaters, the racks, the everything, in a heated garage for their family and friends when they come. And so there's the snowstorm started, and it was one of the most beautiful snowstorms because it was a full moon that night, and it was the lightest amount of powder. Now, I talk about it like it's a magical thing. I don't get that living here where I live in California. I know you guys are in Wisconsin, so you're like, oh my God, she's talking about the snow. Can we talk about the sun already? Probably. However, so it's this beautiful storm, and so everyone decided, well, let's go out. It's 11 o'clock at night, right? And so what you would want to know about the group of people that I was with is that several of them are former professional athletes or in action sports, and several of them were men. So that we're all going to go out for this ride, and I'm like, I don't have a background in action sports. I'm pretty athletic. So we take the snow machines out. It's beautiful. It's just this powder. We're up in the mountains. And Charlie, who's a good friend of mine, he's actually the father of two of my godkids. He was getting so frustrated with me because he had to keep coming and digging me out. I kept getting stuck in the powder, and he finally said to me, he said, Casey, where are you looking? I said, I am looking at the trees so that I don't hit the trees. And he goes, and that's why I keep having to dig you out of the trees. Stop looking at the trees. Don't look where you don't want to go. Look where you do want to go. And so I'm telling my mom this story in preparation for surgery because she's imagined all the things that could possibly go wrong, and that's what she's focusing on versus what she wants, which is to have a successful surgery, heal quickly, and da-da-da-da. So why am I telling you that story to start the conversation off today? Quite simply that many people by nature will focus on where they don't want to go. And now your time and energy is wrapped up in what you don't want versus what you do want. And so the invitation today, and why I say that we're starting today in the way that we are, is that you walk away from this conversation with one thing that you're not able to stop thinking about and thus solving for. In other words, where is it that you want to go, and what are you going to focus or do differently or get really fixated on to create that and have it happen for you? Okay, so there's the setup for today. For those of you that have been in my trainings before around meaningful conversations, that was a very long positioning through telling a story to prepare us for the time together. So knowing what we're going to do today, just in this context of revenue streams and real estate and creating sustainability and flexibility, what I'd love to do quickly from each person is just share your name and what you want to walk away from today's conversation with, given the context of why we're here. And for those of you that are on video or not on video, I'm going to have you, we'll start there, and then we'll go around the live room, the situation room at the 608 team office. So I'm going to call on you so that we don't have that pause of waiting. Anne, would you like to start? What do you want to walk away from today with?
I liked your story. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
I liked your story. I hadn't really thought about my takeaways for today, but now that you prefaced it, so I guess I want to have some steps, I guess, or a plan to get to where I want to go next. I know Mike and I talked about it earlier this week, but I don't have a plan. I sort of have a plan, but I don't have a plan.
Okay. And what's the where you want to?
Where do I want to be?
Yeah. How are you defining that?
Working less per week in the business.
Okay.
What does that look like? 20 hours a week? Is that what you're saying? Asking?
Yeah. What are you currently at?
I'm here almost every day.
Okay. And so 20 hours a week, do you want to be there not daily or 10 hours, 2 days of the week?
That's a great question too. Mike asked that same question. Again, we haven't defined that. I guess I'm looking at 3 days a week, 20 hours max.
Okay. And what are you doing during that time?
All of the financials, insurance, HR related things, supporting our operations manager.
Starting to do a therapy session.
No, I don't want to do that.
Okay. All right. So what I'm hearing you say is that you're looking to build another layer of leverage into your business so that you can get down to 3 days a week and 20 hours.
Correct. Yes.
Okay.
Love that. Yes. Perfect.
Okay, cool. All right, Tyler, what do you want to walk away from today's call with? I'm going to have you come off mute.
Sorry about that. I was just going to say additional wells to pull water from so that no well ever has to feel dry.
And I'm guessing you're not talking about actual water.
No.
So I'm hearing you say diversifying income streams.
Yep.
Okay. Awesome. Randall.
Yes. I guess just again to repeat what everybody said, a few additional income streams, and since I'm just kind of getting my feet wet back into real estate, just looking to absorb as much as I can and become a sponge and learn from others that are being successful to kind of copy what they're doing and see if I can't replicate it myself and learn from them.
Okay, cool. Janine.
I'm not an agent, so I don't the revenue is not in my line, so yeah. I'll just leave you talk after this.
Janine's
Okay.
our CPA in the Philippines, but it
Yeah.
can still be relevant to her.
It's totally relevant to you. So I'm going to invite you to listen for something for you today that you can apply. Because what we're going to talk about today, you can participate in as well. Okay.
Okay.
So you'd be looking for that. All right, Lisa.
I'm fairly new to eXp, and I would like to kind of put all those pieces that eXp has to offer. I mean, there's so much out there. I signed up for FastCap. I became a mentor. I did referral thing. I want to put all these pieces together so that I can focus on it and expand it in a way that I will be able to have disposable income in order to help and fund the projects that I like doing that help people.
Okay, cool. And how much disposable income are you looking for?
A lot. Um, I'm focusing on a big number because if I focus on a smaller number like $100,000, I don't want just $100,000. I want to focus on much more than that. And my number would be like $1 million.
A month, a year?
I would like to see that number as in my as disposable income. And honestly, I'm not in particular if it's monthly or yearly. Both of them are great.
Okay, so here's the if I'm a genie and can grant a wish, and I have no idea what to grant you. Because
Okay,
you're
I
fuzzy.
would say let's do yearly.
So this is an important piece. This is like snowmobiling into the trees or not, right? Be clear on where it is that you want to go. And if it's vague and fuzzy, it's a vague and fuzzy signal and intention. So, okay, we've got $1 million here in disposable. Jenna.
I feel like I'm kind of repeating what other people have said, but just learning different streams of income and how to actually start those and take advantage of them.
Okay, cool. Thank you for being here. All right, let's go to the situation room. Oh, Ben Jordan joined us. I didn't get Ben.
Yeah, I joined late, so I'm not really sure what the question is, and my computer's being really slow, so I don't even
So the
know if
question,
you can hear me that well.
okay, the question is what you want to walk away from. You not hear you that well. The question is what you want to walk away from today's conversation with. I don't see anything happening on his connection. Okay, we'll move to the 608 room. Ellie, I'm gonna have you, if you're open to it.
Yeah. I hadn't thought about it, but if I had to decide something, it would just be figuring out what the next step is in my real estate career and trajectory, and like, is this a part of it, or how it's a part of it?
If what is?
Like additional revenue streams outside of the ones that I'm used to in real estate.
Oh, okay. Cool. And then will you facilitate the rest of the room there sharing? Calling someone?
Rebecca's right behind me.
Yeah. So Rebecca, I don't know yet. As a non-agent and support staff, I'm gonna soak in all that I can today. Yeah, but I'm not in production. So I'm gonna soak in all I can today.
Okay. So for anybody that's not in production or not a real estate agent, it doesn't matter for the sake of this conversation, because there's things that you'll be able to apply and use as a realtor or not a realtor.
And pushing back on Rebecca, she is a licensed agent. She's just not producing. So she does have opportunity for revenue streams.
I would agree.
Okay, cool. Who's next?
I'll be next. I'm Chris Haywild. I'm part of the 608 team. And I'm wanting to farm my neighborhood. I talked about it for years. However, recently I was asked to be part of the neighborhood board. And as such, I think now is a good opportunity to take advantage of taking over the neighborhood as being the real estate person. Because there's not one particular person or agent in our neighborhood that dominates yet. So, yeah.
Okay, cool. And then in the context of what our conversation is today around revenue streams in real estate, what would you add to that?
It'd be great to have let's say by the end of the year, 3 listings out of the neighborhood. Just to start. I mean, I've helped people buy and sell in our neighborhood already. I think I just need to be more focused on coordinating. I'm thinking about coordinating events. I mean, I've already started thinking about doing certain things to get our community together and to get my name out amongst those people. I mean, there's like 1,400 houses in our neighborhood, so a lot of people that have opportunities to get in front of.
Okay, cool. All right, who's next?
Casey, we've talked about this, 50, 25, and 10, 50 area codes, 25 incredible agents in proximity to us here in Madison, and then 10 incredible agents on our team, and how to attract the best of the best.
Okay. That was bullet points. I love bullet points.
Mike Koch, I'm not on the 608 team, but I'm a raving fan of this thing.
You might be by
And,
the end of today.
Yeah, maybe I'll be one of those 10. Anytime I hear additional revenue streams, my ears always perk up. And I'm here to learn more about different opportunities that either I might be able to dabble in or that I could tap into as a leader and help other people around me tap into those. So I'm really interested to learn about the other opportunities, to see how you facilitate the discussion, to go deep in what those opportunities are so that I can provide those opportunities to anybody that's in my circle, in my ecosystem, in my world.
Cool.
Yeah, my name is David, and I guess that's right. Probably focus on 2 streams of income because I'm just starting out in real estate. So maybe get my feet settled before I start venturing off in multiple.
And what are the 2 that you're focused on?
I'd probably say team generated leads and SOI.
Okay. Thank you. Who's next?
I'm 2. I'm not with the 608 team, but I like the 608 team.
She's with the eXp.
I'm with the eXp. I would say that I learned this a long time ago and I want to go back to it, which is try to be the celebrity within your sphere or your neighborhood or your community as the person that helps the community and also is the realtor of choice. So I want to go back to focusing on that and put myself out there a little bit more on social media and then other events that I used to host all the time, but make more of a presence. And, I have the referral-based business now, but I know I can make that go a little bit further if I remember all the other people, the outer ring of my world, I guess.
Okay. Great. Who's next?
I will go next. What we're doing now is just telling her what we want to walk away from the conversation with. So I don't know if you're ready. I can go. Okay. So, for me, just focusing, like you said, on where I want to go and what I envision for myself is just creating a business that I really thoroughly enjoy and that maximizes my just natural abilities. And creating revenue streams around that. For example, I'm a person that people naturally gravitate to and that I'm able to easily connect with people. I've always been like that. So I want to use that ability to really solidify relationships and let those relationships somehow create revenue. You're going to tell me about that.
And I missed your name. What was your name?
Gabby. I'm sorry. I'm Gabby, eXp with the 608 team.
Okay, gotcha. Good to see you, Gabby.
Hey, Casey, it's Jeff Vanderpool from the 608 team. Think of 2 things come to mind immediately, one of which is that I help with recruiting here on the team. So I'd love to know more about the opportunities that eXp has so that we can help educate recruits on just kind of the variety of revenue streams that they have. And then personally, I started investing in real estate 29 years ago. That's definitely been my focus in life, and somewhere where I probably worked harder rather than smarter. It's also my number one income source, second income source being salary here on the team. So yeah, just love to learn about more opportunities to generate revenue smartly rather than by working harder at this point in my life.
Okay, cool.
Melissa. Yeah, I think two things kind of came to mind too. Just, I mean, continuing to learn about these opportunities. This is new and, 4 years in with the 608 team, but still learning something every day about real estate. So it's exciting to learn. Again, similar to a few people on the team here, licensed, but not in production. So not only learning about the opportunities, but setting a path to achieve them. And I think also getting a really solid understanding of everything so that we can continue to support the team with their goals with all these revenue streams as well.
Okay, cool.
Hi, Casey, it's Michael. A big part of why we joined eXp was to be in different rooms, have different tools, look at things and implement differently. I'm interested in learning more about some of the revenue streams that eXp holds to be able to share it with agents and our colleagues and do it in a way that is an addition to their life rather than a distraction from their main income.
Okay, great. Was that everyone?
No, Dominic, 608 team. I guess just seeing what opportunities and then taking the next steps. One of my goals would be rental property, but obviously I want to learn more about other opportunities. So,
And on the rental property goal, tell me what the goal is with that.
just have some sort of residual income.
Okay, cool. All right, great. Was that everyone?
We got one more.
One more. Okay.
Hi. So I'm Zer and I'm a guest today. I am a eXp agent from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. So I drove here about an hour, 30 minutes. I'm actually here to meet Mike Took. I did not know this was happening. I thought I was gonna like job shadow him, but he did invite me today, and I basically was just like, I started my new team. My team's about 6 months old. Started July 1st of 2025, and I have 7 agents. I don't know what the heck I'm doing. So I was like messaging my broker, like, dude, I'm freaking lost. I'm doing everything wrong. I'm giving these people leads. They don't know what they're doing. I'm running their contract. I'm paying them to work for me. I need help. So he was just like, hey, Mike Cook is like an awesome team leader. He's in Madison. Go connect with him. So I messaged him. He was really kind. He was like, yeah, like come shadow me. Let's do a one-on-one. I'll show you the loop. So I came up, and so we're here today. So I'm excited to learn from everyone, and especially him. I did hear really great things about him being a great team leader. So hopefully I get something from my day today. And it looks like you're going to be teaching other stuff too. So I feel like I'm getting the best of both worlds. So I'm excited.
And I missed your name. What's your name?
Zer, Z-E-R, Zer.
Zer. Okay. Well, happy to have you here today.
Thank
And
you.
welcome everyone. Okay, we're going to jump into a really fun exercise. You ready? Everyone's going to need a piece of paper and something to write with to do this exercise. I said fun, and look at how serious it got. What's going on in Wisconsin?
Paper. Oh, you got some already? I'll grab some.
Yeah. So, this could be one of the most powerful exercises you do. My intention in doing this exercise with each of you is to very much do 2 things: give you a reality check, and then also equip you with a different lens to look at your life and your future through based on what's real, because I'm going to be very bold and say that I would say nearly everyone in this call is living in some kind of an illusion that is not really serving you. And I know that sounds really bold, and you're like, gosh, I hope that nobody told you she was motivating and inspirational, because this is depressing. However, this is a really valuable exercise to do. And for those of you that are looking to create more value within the community of real estate agents, or people that are looking to get into real estate, or that for yourself are wanting to answer the question, how do I work smarter? Or how do I diversify so that I don't have all my eggs in one basket and I have different things working for me? And I want to walk away with a plan, a clear plan. This is going to get everyone really clear on where your actual point A is versus where you think your point A is, in a way that, and in the context of education, that you're going to be able to share with other people. So I'm going to give you the experience by walking you through what the exercise is, so you'll have a firsthand experience of it. And then as you go through the firsthand experience, I want you to notice what you're thinking and what you're feeling as we walk through the experience. And it's going to be a very simple one to be able to duplicate and replicate literally in just a couple of minutes, to create an incredible amount of value for somebody that you might find yourself sitting in front of, that is looking to create something more better or different in their business and in their life. Okay, so how we're going to start this off is at the top of the page. I want you to write down how old you are right today. So write down your current age. I'm writing mine down too. My numbers fit my And does everyone know their age? This is not a time to lie about your age. So at the top of the page, everyone should have their age, current age written down, your real age, not in cat years, dog years, or anything else, your actual age. Does everyone have that? And we can move on?
Yes.
Yes? Okay. And so now, now listen to the question. Provided that you have a great quality of life and that you're healthy, how old do you want to live to be? So, provided that you have great quality of life and that you're healthy, how old do you want to live to be? Right? So, like for me, my number's 95. I'm going to be old. I'm going to be healthy, and I'm not going to wake up the next morning. And I'm going to have a great life all the way up till then. So 95 is my number. So write your number down on what that is. And then
when we're that age, are we healthy? Are we still healthy and mobile?
You have a great quality of life.
Okay.
And your health is good.
Okay. Because not good. I want to go at like 70.
70? Oh my goodness, 70 is the new 40. Bump it
No,
up.
I said if you're not healthy, like if I'm not mobile and I'm all like old and fragile.
Oh
But
yeah.
if I'm healthy, then I can go longer.
Yes. Okay. Now, so I love that you want to answer a question that I didn't ask. My question was given the fact that you have a great quality of life and you're healthy, how old do you want to live to be?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. So everybody's got their number. All right. I love doing this exercise. This exercise is really fun to do in person in large groups of people. I've done this exercise in rooms of hundreds of people actually, and I've had 1 or 2 people raise their hand that know the information that you're about to receive. So I'm guessing it's going to be a new conversation for a lot of people in the room. Okay. So write this down. I'm going to say it a couple times, multiple ways. Based on an average of 5% inflation each year, you need to double. Actually, before we do that, I got ahead of myself. So at the current age that you're at right now, let's talk money. What's the amount of money that you currently need to every year sustain the life that you're living? So what's the amount that you're making right now to live the life that you're living today? 50,000 a year, 100,000 a year, 100,000 a month, like just what's your current number for what you're actually doing, not what you want, not what you want to grow into, what it takes to fund your life right now. So write down that number next to your current age. And then look back at me once you've got that done so that I know everyone's ready to go on to the next piece. So just to check in, we should have the age that you are today, the age that you're going to die, healthy with a good quality of life, and then the current amount of money that you need to generate each year to live the life that you're living today. Everybody got those three pieces? That's really important. Everybody have those three before we move on. Okay, so here's the equation. Based on an average of 5%, and here's what I would say if I was in conversation with someone. Mike, did you know that based on an average of 5% inflation each year, you need to double the amount of income that you make every 15 years to keep the exact same standard of life that you have today? I'm going to say that a different way. Without buying the new house, buying the new car, just keeping the life that you're living today, you need to double your income every 15 years just to keep doing and living the way that you are right now. So now let's do some math. We're going to go to what your age was today or your age is today. So who'd like to be the example?
I'll be an example.
I'm not going to shame you. It's going to be
It's
fun.
okay. It's good. So
Okay.
I'm good to go because Dom's taking care of me once I'm at 101. So we won't use that as the equation.
Okay, so what's your current age?
63.
63. And provided that you're healthy and have a good quality of life, how old do you want to live to be?
101.
101.
38 years difference.
Okay, so that means that we've got to get you to 78 and then 93. And then that'll get you. Okay, so at 63, what's the current amount that you need to fund the life that you're living?
150,000.
150,000. So that means at 78, you need to be making 300,000 a year. At 93, you need to be making 600,000 a year. And if you went to 108, that would be 1.2 million a year.
Okay.
To everyone that's in the room, I want you to do that same math for yourself right now. So take your current age and then keep adding 15 years till you get to your death date. And then double your income every 15 years. And look at what your numbers are. All right, well, now that everyone's depressed, let's talk about what you're experiencing.
It's a lot of money.
Okay, it's a lot of money. What else?
You hope that whatever you're doing right now is going to get you to be comfortable with whenever it is, 101 or whenever your date is, to get you through, for me, next 38 years, or like Dom, he's a young pup. He probably got like what, 80 something years on your number difference.
Okay.
Okay, 70.
All right, so for the rest of you that just did the exercise, let's hear from some more people. Thank you for sharing. What are you experiencing right now?
Well, how the heck am I gonna have that much money when I'm 83, for example?
Okay.
How are you gonna make more when you're more when you're working less? Like that, it's like the opposite of what you want to do, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you're gonna retire.
How am I ever going to retire? Okay, what else?
Mine's a little bit more optimistic. It was a kick in the butt of, okay, if I have to do it anyways, I'm going to do it now. And a little bit of, I'm very grateful to be in like inflation adjusted industry too, where I'm like, wow, that's a real opportunity we have that a lot of people don't have. So
Feels like a good time to buy a house if they're going up on average 4 to 6% a year.
Okay.
I think for me,
All right. So Lisa,
I'm sorry. I think for me, it's doable. My number is fairly large, but it's not like unreachable. It's just the systems that I need to change to get it.
okay. All right. So here is the truth is that fun little math equation and life equation is, you know, you could look at the last 10 plus years and go, okay, well, what's inflation actually been? Well, it's been an average of 2.5%. So you could cut those numbers in half if you really wanted to, but it doesn't change the fact that the older you get, the more money you need to make, period. And that's not to improve your life and lifestyle. That's just to keep living the same way that you are today. And so how many people by a show of hands want to continue to work harder and work more the older you get? And so if you don't have things that are working for you, that is basically what you've signed up for. You'll work every day till the day that you die, and you're going to need to keep working harder to just keep the same life that you're living right now, not expand it, not upgrade your lifestyle, to keep doing what you're doing right now and living the way that you're living right now. And so, so this begs a different question. If you don't want to work until the day that you die, or keep working harder the older that you get to keep generating more and more just to stay in the same life that you're living right now, then it's time for a different conversation. Would you guys agree? So the conversation that we go into is, well, what's true for the majority of people right now is, because we're in the industry of real estate, I don't care if you're support staff in the industry of real estate, or you're a realtor that's licensed not selling real estate right now, or you're a real estate licensed person that is selling real estate right now. Everybody has one thing in common, and that is that you're trading a certain amount of time for a certain amount of money, period. So if you're getting that on a salary because you're in a paid position in the organization, great. If you're getting that based off of homes that you're selling and commissions off those homes that you're selling, great. And what's common in all of those things is you got to trade your time in order to get that money. And it's how many times can you make that trade in a day? So if you're salaried, it's a set of hours. If you're in a sales position and selling real estate, it's how many transactions can you do? How many clients can you service? And the ability to keep that going and keep that growing. So the illusion that most people are living in is that they don't realize the situation that they're in based on inflation and what it will mean as your life progresses, and what it's going to require to keep where you're at right now going for the number of years that you want to continue to live and live a great life. And so my question for each one of you would be, what's your plan? What's your plan to get to, 93 and go from 150,000 a year to 600,000 a year, which is what it will cost to keep the 150,000 a year lifestyle right now? And what's the plan? So work harder, work more could be one plan. Invest could be another plan. However, let's talk about investing. So if we're going to invest in there's different places you can invest, right? So you can invest in the stock market, which is fine. I don't understand the stock market. So I'm not a person that, to me, it's like one of my mentors, I'm like, tell me what you think the best places to invest. And he's like, to me, there's all kinds of different things. He had invested in hotels. He invested in solar. He had invested some in the stock market. Like, he had all kinds of different things. And so he gave me a really important principle is that, let's talk about this. Let's talk about this first off, is the four principles around that. So would everyone agree that you've got to have something working outside of just your own time, energy, and efforts, or else you're set up right now to work every day till you die and have to work more and make more the older you get? Is everybody on board with that concept? Yeah. So since we're in the industry of real estate, we go, okay, well, we're going to invest in real estate, right? You read books like The Millionaire Real Estate Investor, and it'll give you this whole plan that you can lay out where you buy properties, you have the opportunity to have someone else paying the mortgage on those properties, which eventually pays them down. So you've got some leverage and you've got some cash flow. How many of those can you accumulate, in the form of portfolio? And that is a strategy, right? The question is, how many of those do you need to be able to satisfy that financial number that you've got looking at you in the face if you ever want to back off, do less, or have the option to maybe even do something like have an exit strategy? How many of those do you have to make those numbers work as you continue to chronologically progress? Notice I didn't say get older. Notice I didn't say age. I said chronologically progress. Every year that you get the opportunity to have your number go up in age, it's a chronological progression, right? So as you chronologically progress, what do you have to have working for you to make sure that every 15 years that number is doubling for you so that you have the same quality of life that you have right now? We're not even in an upgrade the quality of life conversation. We're in a keep the same quality of life that you've got right now conversation, okay? So one of my mentors, his name's Nathan, he would always say, you want to look at, if you look at, okay, let's take I'm going to, sell however much I sell or work however much I work off the table. And now let's start to look at revenue streams and how those work and what are the smartest ones. He would always say this. He would say that you want to look at the amount of risk versus the amount of return, which is the upside potential. And generally, when you have upside return, the greater the upside return, the greater the risk. Is everybody with me so far? Yeah. So we want to ask a different question, which is, how do I get the lowest amount of risk for the highest amount of return? Lowest amount of risk for the highest amount of return on my time, energy, and efforts. So if we go down the investing route, here's 4 principles that he told me. And so this is a man that his background was in commercial real estate. And he, some of you go to Utah or have been to Utah in the Salt Lake City area. So between Salt Lake City and a little place called Provo, Utah, which is about an hour south of Salt Lake City on Highway 15, there is an area known as Silicon Slopes. How many of you have heard of that or know about that area? It's a tech area in Utah. As you drive down the highway, you'll see, all of these tech companies and beautiful commercial buildings. Has anybody seen it? No, nobody knows about Silicon Slopes. Okay, well, you can Google it. It is like the second Silicon Valley to here in California, where Apple and Google and Microsoft are. That's its sister location is Silicon Slopes in Utah. And that area, Silicon Slopes, used to at one point just be land. And so Nathan, who's my mentor, he went from a guy that had nothing to when he passed away in his own plane that went down January 2023, he died a billionaire. Yes, with a B, not an M. And so in 2019, when I went to him and I said, Rick and I want to, okay, we're in a place now where we want to start looking at, leverage differently and investing. Like, tell me what I need to know. And he said, here's what you need to know. Here's the 4 principles that if you hit all 4 of these things, you'll do great. And he had done a lot of things, learned a lot of hard lessons. And so here's the 4 principles. Principle number 1 is, he said, everybody, and this is why most people don't ever really it is because they have an emotional attachment, and money is not emotional.
Hey, Casey, we lost you at like a climactic point.
You said 4 things and then we lost you, so just start over.
Okay, I didn't give you any of the 4 things yet. I'm still doing the tee.
Yeah.
Okay, so he said the 4 things, which I'll get to, but the biggest thing was that why most people never create wealth, or they will create some and lose it, is they have an emotional attachment and treat it like gambling. So it's like, what's my return going to be? How much can I get out of this? Right. And so they'll treat how they utilize their money opportunistically and treat it like gambling because they've got an emotional attachment to it, versus money has no emotion tied to it. And you need to understand the principles of it and how it works. And if you have a structure in place behind it, then that's what becomes really important. So number one, he said the very first most important question to answer is, what is the return? When is the return of my capital? So in other words, if I am going to invest in something, whether that is a piece of real estate as a rental property, or a stock, or a syndicate, like, when am I getting my capital back? So if I'm going to put 100,000 in, when am I getting that 100,000 back? And there's a lot of investments that you do that you don't get the capital back. So that would immediately take that investment off the table. So number one is, when is the return of the capital? And then the secondary question that you ask yourself to that is, how long am I willing to have that money tied up? Right? Because now you're not liquid. You can't get the capital. So you don't have cash reserves because you have your cash tied up in some kind of investment or thing. So when's the return of the capital is the first question. Second question is, what is the return on the capital? Is it, 10%? Is it 15%? Is it a 2x? Is it a 4x? What's the return on the capital is question number two. Question number three is, what are the tax advantages associated with this investment? And then number four is, once I've got all my capital back and I've taken advantage of whatever the tax advantages are, and I've got my interest off that initial money working for me, what is the ongoing annuity that I'm going to have that's still going to give me revenue, and what's it going to be long after I've got all my capital back and the initial interest on them having that capital? And that is the litmus test for how to have a sound investment. So let me give you an example of what that could look like in real estate. And so example, right, is one of the issues in America is housing, right? And so one of the ways that housing issue is being solved is through mobile home communities. So the same guy, Nathan, created a company with his son-in-laws where there's 5 different grades or types of mobile home communities, from ones you probably wouldn't want to step foot in to ones that are actually very nice. And so they built an entire company around going in and purchasing these kind of communities. Their company is called Haven Park, HAVENPARK. You can look them up online if you want to check it out. They go in and they acquire them. They do all of the upfront upgrades to the communities. They're beautiful communities, and how their criteria is they want to be more competitive for someone to be able to own a home in a park like this versus then for less amount of money each month than if they were in a 2-bedroom apartment in the same local community. And so they created an entire business plan around this. So now watch the 4 things, how those 4 things came into play. The return of the capital investment happens within 5 to 7 years. The return on the capital is 15% per year, 6% in year 1, 7% in year 2, 8% in year 3, and then a catch up once they refi out because they hold the properties, and then there's the catch up. So it's essentially, if they have your money 5 years, you get 15% on that money for the 5 years. That's what it totals out to be. So there's the return of the capital in 5 to 7. The return on the capital is 15%. The tax benefits to that is the bonus depreciation laws and the ability to take that in the year that they purchase and do the improvements. And then the losses that happen in the first years as they're getting those up to speed. Once the capital's returned and all the interest has been paid, there's not any tax advantages any longer, but there's an ongoing annuity of 6% of whatever your investment was that you continue to receive forever. So that is a great and very low risk, super low risk, right? That would be an example that hits all 4 of those. Now, to find that, if you're going to go out and build your own real estate portfolio, you're in a different conversation, a different equation. And again, how many of those do you need to have? How many properties do you need to have? And do you have the capital or access to capital that's going to get you enough of those, that's going to get you the cash flow, that's going to get you doubling the amount of money that you need every 15 years to keep going. So you can run all those numbers on your own and be depressed when you go to bed tonight, or we could be in a different conversation. Do you guys want to be in a different conversation? Yes. Is this too much thinking for this early in the morning? I'm 2 hours earlier than you. This stuff to me is exciting. Like, right, I said when we came onto the call today, it's like, I want to teach you to think differently. I want to disrupt the way that you are thinking. I want to give you a really clear, like, over the head around where you're actually at versus where you think you're at. The equation around inflation and your future and what that needs to look like all of these pieces are to get that. Okay, here's the issue that everyone's in, right? Which is why if you look at our incredible country, 1% of people create freedom for themselves. 1%. 99% do not, because they are in the dark about what the equation is that they're actually living, which is every year I got to double my income. You're not going to do that in a job. I haven't seen it happen anyway. And so, this is a different, I understand that we're like layering on more and more pieces of this, which can feel very overwhelming and very intense. I'm doing that on purpose because the greatest gift that I can give you is to not be an illusion about where your actual point A is and where you're actually at. Because most people walk around in an illusion going, oh, well, it's fine, or I'll just keep doing what I'm doing, or it's going to grow X% each year. Okay. And is that X% going to be what it takes for you to get to where you actually want to be based on what's real, right? Okay, I'm going to pause because I've been talking a lot. And these are new concepts and ideas for, I'm going to guess, a lot of you, just based on me having this conversation in different rooms with people over the last several years. Thoughts, questions? What are you thinking? What are you feeling? What's going on for y'all right now?
I want to be the one.
Sounds like rev share is a better option with low risk and a higher return.
Say that one more time.
That sounds like rev share is a better option with low risk and a higher return.
We have a genius in the room.
It's reminding me, Casey, of, and this is Don fell in love with me over this line, and he also is falling out of love with me over this line. That when he met me, I said, I want to do the least amount of work to make the most amount of money. And he thought that was cool. He thought it was interesting. And now that he wants me to do more work, and I'm like, no, I don't want to do that. I'm going to do the least amount of thing that's making the most amount of money. He's falling out of love with me. And so this is related to that of like, yeah, how do you do the most with the least, or, risk versus reward, whatever it is.
Yeah. So what I'm hearing you say is that you're in a quality of life conversation, and you always, so the higher context of the time and money thing is, how do I have a quality of life where I somehow can escape this, not escape, solve for the situation that most people are in, which is the bulk of my time goes to generating the money, which impacts the quality of the life that I'm living or that I'm able to live, because I don't actually own my time. And so when we are the focal point of our income generation, we'll always be in that equation. And the reason why we're in the conversation that we're in today is to talk about leverage, multiple streams of income, so that bit by bit, we can buy back time without having a negative financial implication, have a plan in place that's going to continue to grow as we chronologically progress. I know, I can't believe nobody's laughing over the chronological progression versus must be a California thing. So, and then we have this thing that is creating that, right? However, there's nothing is free, period. So in the situation that we talked about from an investment perspective, we're going to do that through a real estate portfolio or other investments, right? Like I'm in a venture capital investment right now. So return of the capital, 3 to 5 years. Return on the capital, no idea. Tax benefit, 0. Ongoing annuity, 0. So it only meets 2 of the 4 criteria. I mean, like Star Wars here. It meets two of the four. It meets two of the four criteria. And why would I do that? Well, because it's a little company called SpaceX, and it's a little company called Anthropic, which is OpenAI. That's why companies that when they go for IPOs will be trillion dollar valuations or more. So I made an exception to the four investing rules that Nathan taught me based on the opportunities of that, right? However, then I also have the safe one that I know and that meets all that four criteria. So why I'm sharing this with you is so that you start thinking about what your strategy is going to be. And what we're going to talk about right now is the one that everyone has access to and, you know, it has availability to. So, so with that, where a lot of people go in real estate is build a sales team. We have our friend from an hour and a half away that has, you know, has a sales team. And it's like, okay, I'm going to get some leverage through having a sales team. And you couldn't talk to a better person than Mike Koch around that and the experience of that. And he'll be able to equip you with some things. However, in a traditional sales team, what you're going to have is you're going to have people that will come on that learn how to do the business generally as newer agents, and they get really great at doing the business. And then we'll go, okay, well, why do I need to be on this team? I'll just go do this myself. And so you have what we call a revolving door effect as a team lead, where you're constantly looking for new talent that you're on that, right? And so many of the people that are on this call or that are in this room have already solved for that issue because they're doing their business over a business platform called eXp Realty that as what's going to happen naturally in teams anyways, that people will come on the team and go off the team. When they go off the team to do their own thing or build their own sales teams, they're still in the ecosystem of eXp. And there's the leverage of the fact that the company shares 50% of the revenue that come in from agents back to the agents. So the investment that you've made in people to help them in their businesses and their careers while they're on your sales team, they're not now your competition in the marketplace. They're still your collaboration in the marketplace because they're still within an ecosystem that has a pillar of income for you and your business outside of the transactional business that you're doing on your own, and that may be coming from team members that are on your sales team. So immediately we've solved for an issue that isn't solved in other areas where people are running or building sales teams that are not over the platform that we have. So everything that I'm doing in the conversation today is to help you start thinking differently, start looking differently at that, right? So then we go, okay, well, let's look at risk versus return, right? So we've talked about the financial and the capital risk that you have or that you need to have if you're going to do venture capital investing or do it in a real estate portfolio. Let's talk about no risk ways that you can diversify and build income all through relationships. And so one of those is, and I'm going to have you, for those of you that are taking notes, I'm going to have you write this down in orders that flow down the page, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So for everyone that is in real estate sales right now, number one, you're going to get a commission. So write that down. That's your income from your sales business. Number two, my question for you, depending on where you're working, is, are you getting ownership, and is your ownership shares increasing where you're working? If you're already at eXp, the answer is yes. So let's talk about how that ownership piece looks. So under number 2, I want you to write down ownership. And then I'm going to have you make 2A. So the first point on 2A is that every year at your anniversary date, when you, let's say that January 1st is the day that you moved your license to eXp, and then January 15th, you close your first transaction for 2026. When you close your first transaction every year after your January 1st anniversary date, 2A, I want you to write down $200 in eXp stock. So that's ownership that you're earning every time you do your first deal each year. Under 2B, I want you to write down $400 in eXp stock. And that is on a full cap, which is a $16,000 cap. So you're on an 80-20 split. And once the company has made $16,000, which is their company dollar. You're capped, which means you get 100% of your commission moving for the rest of the calendar year. So let's say you do enough transactions that eXp's made their $16,000 by April 1st. From April 1st until January 1st the next year, you get 100% of your commission. So you're not on a split any longer with the company. And when you hit that cap, now the company awards you more ownership. So $400 in eXp stock is to be, right? If you're somebody that is like, you know what, I'm serious about my business and career, I've got a great business that I'm doing, or I'm going to grow my business and become what's called an icon agent, then that would be 2C. So I want you to write down, actually, I take that back, scratch it, pretend you never heard it. 2C is, I want you to write down $400 again. And that is, and then next to that under 2C, I want you to write down sponsored agent first transaction. So let's say that Ellie's not with eXp and she's been included in the trainings that I'm doing and part of our community. And she's like, I love your community. I'd love to work more closely with you guys. And she comes to eXp. Well, she has to have a sponsor to come to eXp. And because I'm the person with the relationship with her that's been talking to her, and she said, okay, Casey, I want you to be my sponsor. So Ellie comes to eXp. I'm her sponsor. When Ellie closes her first real estate transaction, eXp is going to give me $400 in ownership in the form of company stock. And so that is item 2C under ownership. So if we look at this, you're doing what you would do in real estate anyway, which is selling real estate. It's just as you do it, you're now with a platform that's giving you ownership. It's giving. They're not taking money from you to get company stock. They're giving you. So you have zero risk for ownership shares. Okay, this is great if we go through the criteria of investing and how to diversify income streams. So just without even thinking, you change where you do your real estate business, and now these are the things that are open to you. The question is, are you thinking as a real estate professional where you know that your ways to source business are buyers, sellers, investors, and agents, right? Because of how eXp's platform works. So if you have agents that you're helping in the community that want to be part of this community, that are learning and want to grow or take their businesses to the next level, and they choose to do that within our company, these are all the ways that for zero risk, you're having whatever that upside potential is going to be, which I'm not making any projections on that because it's the stock market. That's not my area of expertise, but 100% of nothing is nothing. If you're not working in our platform and you're working somewhere else, you're going to go out and do the same business for a commission and zero ownership. So it's not about how much that's worth at the moment. It's that 100% of nothing is nothing. And you're earning ownership just for doing the things that you would do naturally as an agent. If you're building a sales team, or even if you're an individual agent that's not building a sales team and just has great relationships in the community and you're selling real estate. So those are ownership. So now I want you to write awards because that means it's a gift. So next to ownership, write awards. And then draw a line that looks like this. So here's what everyone should have so far. Maybe should look like that. Yeah, have A, B, and C and draw a line under it. So 2D is under ownership. I want you to write down icon award. And so for agents that are on a full cap, meaning you're paying $16,000 to the company every year, once you do an additional 20 transactions or a total of $500,000 in GCI, gross commission income, you can earn the Icon Award every year, which is $16,000 in stock that the company gives to you for meeting those benchmarks. Now you've got to attend 2 company events each year, and there's a cultural component that make up the total of 16,000. So it's part production, part attending eXpCon and a regional rally, and then there's a cultural component for teaching and helping and There's multiple ways you can meet that. The point of it is that you can earn everything you paid in that split and 16,000 back from the company. So you've got now all of these ways, 4 different ways to create additional revenue for yourself, with 0 risk on your part, just for going and doing what you're going to do anyways, which is business. All right. So now let's write down number 3 on the page. And what I want you to write next to that is 5% of my commission I can have the company keep and purchase stock for 5% below whatever the current market value is. So when you have a transaction, you can come on this program, you can be off of the program at any point in time. It's not a permanent thing. You can go one way or another. But basically you've made 5% on your money immediately. So risk, reward, you've immediately made 5%, no risk, which is better than you're going to do in any interest-bearing account anywhere. So these are some ways like you immediately can start to build leverage into your business just by where you choose to do your business at. And everyone has access to that. Under number 4, here is what I want you to write next to number 4 is revenue share. And the easiest way to think about revenue share is I'm going to have you write down 50-50. So 50% of the company, the money that comes into the company, they keep to run the company. And 50% of the money that comes into the company, they share back with agents. So you do a transaction. Let's just say the price point is $800,000 at a 2.5% commission. That means eXp is going to take of that commission. They're going to take 20%, which is $4,000 on that transaction. You get the balance of the $4,000 that eXp takes for their 20%. They're going to keep $2,000 to run the company. And then in that same month, they're going to take the remaining $2,000, and there's an entire compensation structure where they share that back with agents the month that the transactions close. So now start to think about that. And here's what I'll share with you about what that can look like over time, right? And so for those of you that have sales teams or building sales teams, this will give you an idea, right? So in January of 2017, my late husband, Rick, and I came to eXp. By the time he passed away in 2023, he'd been in the industry for 43 years as a top selling agent. He had a sales team. He was a coach. He got, hired to go speak and train all over the place. He loved helping people. We called him affectionately the Freedom Pathfinder because he was helping people find their path to freedom, whether that was through homeownership, through investing, through building sales teams, real estate sales teams. He coached brokers that wanted to build independent brokerages. Like he worked in all aspects. But in January 2017, we came to eXp, and by January of 2022, so 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 5 years later, so for the year of 2022, that was his last full year in sales production and leading the sales team, because he ultimately passed away in 2023. But for 2022, the Council-Geha real estate sales team did 77 million in volume. Okay, so that's a big number, right? And for those of you that run sales teams or are looking at running sales teams, if you don't know, what you would know or will know is that depending on the model you're using to run your sales team, the team lead will net somewhere between 20 to 30%. So just to make the numbers easy, if you want to make $200,000 to $300,000 a year take home, you got to have the sales team produce $1 million in commissions for you as the team leader to take home somewhere between $200,000 and $300,000. That's a lot of business, right? So we go back to this number, right? As we're talking about revenue share and we're talking about leverage. So in 2022, the Council-Geha real estate sales team which I'm not on, I'm on the business side of things, running the businesses, is 77 million in volume. And what we took home from the sales team that year, so I want you to write down the number 77 million, and then I want you to write down 24%. That was 24% of our income for the year from eXp. The other 76% of our income for the year from eXp came from revenue share, because we had an organization of over 2,000 real estate agents that chose to be at this company selling real estate and growing and building their own businesses. And those are transactions that we never touched, that we were never a part of. And oh, by the way, unexpectedly, he passes in 2023. I haven't been actively selling homes since 2009. I'm running the businesses. And guess what? The leveraged asset called revenue share, which is zero money, unlimited upside potential. What's the investment? The investment is time and energy and people. When you grow the people, people go out and grow their businesses. Everyone that's part of our organization is in real estate for themselves, and they're growing the real estate businesses that they want to build based on whatever their sales goals are, their investing goals are. As we help people do that, our investment is the time and energy and the people over the platform of eXp for an unlimited upside potential with zero risk, because there's no money in it. It's time and energy, right? So if I go back to the principles of, we've talked about multiple ways to generate income. We've talked about the commissions that you can earn. We've talked about ownership awards through stock in the company. Then you being able to purchase it at a discount and immediately make 5%, and you to be able to, and your ability to be able to have the leverage of the company going, hey, yeah, we'll share 50% of our revenue with you as agents, for doing what? For bringing people to our community, helping them take their real estate lives and businesses to the next level. And the better the one does, the better we all do, right? A beautiful program to be able to have a win-win-win, like layered on, right? And what does that give you? That gives you diversification. You want to invest in real estate? Go invest in real estate. I know plenty of people that have cashed in stock to be able to go purchase real estate investments and take the leverage that they got there and move it over to building a real estate portfolio. You now start to have options where you can play at different levels within the game, because you have things working for you outside of the work that you're just doing for yourself. So there's a million other things that we could go into on how to diversify and create different revenue streams. But my invitation to you would go back to where we started the conversation today, which is number one, what is the situation that every person's in? Every single person is in the same situation, that you need to double your income every 15 years to keep the same standard of living based on an average of 5% inflation every year, period. Every person's in that situation. What is your plan for that? What is your plan for that? And most people don't have a plan that can keep up with that or that can offset that. And so we help people create plans to solve for that. And it can be one or multiples of everything that we talked about today. So the principles around how you want to do that is, if you're going to be investing in real estate or anything else, venture capital, when's the return of the capital? Number one, what's the return on the capital? Number two, what's the tax advantages for making that investment? Number three, and what's the ongoing annuity once you've got all of that back that you're going to continue to receive? Highest and best level of investment that you could have if you're going to put capital in there, right? Those are the four foolproof things on the investing side of things. And then outside of that, okay, if we're going to look at ways to create leverage, diversification, and multiple streams of income for doing what I'm going to do anyways in real estate, we went through what the platform of eXp gives you in opportunity and reward for doing the work that you're going to do anyway, and work that you can do that maybe you haven't done yet, to build something on layer and layer and layer for the time, energy, and effort. So the question that I always come back to is this: once I've got a plan, where's the highest return on my time, energy, and effort? Where am I going to receive that? And do I have something working, compounding for me? So based on that, where do I want my energies to go and my energies to flow? So I'll leave you with those questions. Okay, we have 10 minutes before the bottom of the hour. The time always goes by so fast. So I'm going to take the last 10 minutes for ahas, questions, clarifications, anything that might be going on. Would love to hear from you guys today.
Casey, what was that last thing you just said? Where do I want my energy and something to flow? What did you say?
Yeah, what's the highest return on my time and energy? Where am I going to get the highest return for that? So like for me, in the context of what I do, the highest return on my time, energy, and effort is in the facilitation of the quarterly retreats that I do here in Pacific Grove. Why? Because I just did one in January and I had 30 people in a room that took their mindset, their skill set, and a business plan to an entirely different level that immediately I'm seeing results. So the leverage for me, I grow the people grow out and grow the businesses. As their businesses are growing, they're getting more income, more wealth, more legacy, more impact, more freedom. And because we're all working in this ecosystem called eXp, that feeds mine. So for me, when I go, where's the highest return of my time, energy, and effort? It's those retreats. That is the number one place that I get the highest return, because I get an intensive environment for 2 days with people that get really clear and that then get a vision expanded and they get motivated, inspired, and they've got a community that's supporting them in doing that. So for me, that's how I answer that question. So for you, how do you answer that question in your business? Where's the highest return on my time, energy, and effort going to be? And
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought about that. I told you I wanted $1 million a
Yeah.
year. So my highest return, as I'm thinking and I'm listening to you, would be one, get on that fast cap thing and learn that system. And as I'm doing that, I can find other agents from other companies, what I'm working with, and that gives me that segue to have those conversations to do what I need to do. So to me, that's the flow that I'm going to take.
I love it.
It's a good idea. And then I'm going to call you and say, you need to talk to this person.
With.com is still how you find my calendar.
I know that was a joke, but yeah, that's what my thought is. And that's the only way that I can see that I could leverage myself without working like a dog.
I love that. Thank you for sharing. Who else? So
I'll
heavy.
go next.
Yeah, go.
I had 2 reminders today, and it's amazing as you continue to invest in yourself. There's always opportunities to learn, but a lot of times it's the reminders that come from being in that room and hearing that conversation that reiterate what you already know and need to go deeper on it. One is to have a higher sense of urgency, right? Like if you need to double every 15 years, you can't let this year go forward without making progress. Otherwise, you're falling farther and farther behind. So one is for me, and I talk to so many people that I see it in how they conduct their business too. And so I'll say that most of us, probably all of us, need a higher sense of urgency. And I'm throwing myself in there. Like I got to be more proactive every day towards working what that goal is going to be. 2 is that you can't just trade the time for the money. Like you have to find something that you can invest in that will grow when you're not directly a part of it. That has to grow when you're sleeping. It has to grow when you're on vacation. It has to grow when you're not working. It's kind of like Ellie's, like how can I get the greatest return with the least amount of my time? That's the investment structure that you need to find. And I already know for me what that is. But it's just, those are 2 really good reminders so that when I leave here, I continue to take the appropriate amount of action I need to take, and I don't leave here and not implement.
I love that. Yeah, there's a really, so this is a great question to be able to ask people, which is if you look at your last 5 years, if you keep doing exactly what you're doing in the way that you did it for the last 5 years, for the next 5 years, where are you going to be positioned in this equation that we talked about today? And if it's not going to position you where you want to be positioned, what is it that we look at in doing differently, right? Because if we don't do anything differently, we're on the same track that we've been on for the last 5 years. If we want to create a different outcome or different experience, it requires change, right? And a very small percentage of the population likes change, and the percentage of the population that likes change is so small because they see it as opportunity and growth, not as what they're leaving behind or losing. And so they'll jump into change, right? However, the majority of people, like, we're wired for comfort and known, and it's like, oh, I'm just going to keep trudging along in what I know how to do and how I've been doing it, and I'll just keep going and everything will work itself out. Well, that is a plan based on hope, and I call that hope dope, because hope doesn't ever actually create executed plans that work out. They create more illusion, right? So I think the greatest gift that we can give ourselves is, number one, be really honest and clear about the point A that we're actually at, be fine with it, and then have the courage to go, okay, what is there for me to immediately shift, change, adjust, pivot, and with urgency do that, and be very intentional, so that over the next 3 to 5 years, as I go execute in that intentional space, what does that look like? And then as that compounds and continues to grow, the 5 years after that. And so do we have the compounding and the growth happening? And is the time and energy going for things that are going to create that, to offset it? So love that. Great. Who else? We've got time for one or two more.
This is just a reminder. I'm mad at myself because I feel like the last 3 years since probably having kids, or maybe, I don't know, before that, I used to run everything past this framework of like, what's going to give me the most amount of money in the least amount of time. And again, it's not because it's about money, it's because it's about quality of life, like I've said, or like you said. But I'm mad that I haven't continued to do that when other things have distracted from that. And I can see it in like the changes, because I think about the time where I met Dom and I was transitioning to higher price points, and I was transitioning off of buyers, and I was transitioning to listings, but like that next thing hasn't happened in the last few years. And it's like, it's just very easy to be distracted by so many other things, or thinking, let's keep this thing the same, but expect a different outcome, and not running that framework, or having every decision benchmark on, is this where I should be setting my time and effort?
Yeah.
And
love that. And that's why it's important to be in rooms like this and conversations like this, because being in the conversation, it's like, it's an opportunity to check in, it's an opportunity to pivot, and awareness, right? I mean, shoot, a year can go by and we can look up and go, what happened? How's it already 2026? I mean, I kind of feel like that. I'm like, what happened to 2025? Right. And then being like, okay, how do I be more smart and more diligent in 2026 based on what I want to create and where I want to go, and what is there for me to pivot? And some of that was saying no. You know, I have one, some of you know Rosie, she's like, I think we should go this and do here and do this and this, and I want to bring you here and this. And I'm like, no. And the reason is, I'm like, here's where I'm going to be. Bring the people to all the places that I'm going to be, and I will do my thing. And then here's 4 times where I'm bringing people into where I'm going to be, and I'm going to do my thing, because I'm very clear on where that return for time and energy is, right? So it was a reset, versus running around all over the planet, which is what I've done the last, couple of years, right? So it's important to be in, we look at that and go, okay, reset. And for you, you want to be down to, 20 hours a week. Like, the question is, what's it going to take to do that? What are you keeping and what are you releasing, and by when? Right. And then who's the person that is, like, when you're talking leverage, you're now talking leverage through people that's going to give you that, right? It's the Benjamin Hardy, who, not how. Right? It's not how are we going to do it. It's who's the person that's going to be the person that comes into play, that's going to give me what I want to be able to move into in this next piece. Right? If you haven't read that book, Who Not How is amazing. For those of you building organizations, Who Not How is amazing, by Benjamin Hardy. It's who are those people, right? Dom, 50 area codes, 25 agents, 10 agents on the team. Same thing. Who are they? And then how do we source those people? Where are they? What's the challenge in finding them and then keeping them and retaining them? And what does that avatar look like, right? It's the who, not how, getting clear on those things. And you've got the platform behind you to be able to do that. And so then what's the urgency that is in the sifting and sorting and looking, right? And what's the plan in place and the structure in place to do that? And so it's different layers for, person that's going to be, that said that they, want to farm and generate more business. Yeah. You're looking for the who's. The how is the farm. Okay, who's the who's? How do we get to those people in a place that are going to be the right people and position you? It's a similar conversation in a different context, but depending on how you're layering it over. And at the end of the day, my goal for each one of you is like, hey, if I can help you get what you want, I'm happy. Right. I don't care what it is that you want, like want what you want. Everybody wants different things, and hopefully everybody wants different things, right? Because we're all different and your version of it. And so that's what the power of is this in this community is all of the people that come together and continue to come together regularly for one thing. How do we help each other get what we want at a higher level? And then we collaborate to do that. Oh, you need to know this person or this tool or this resource. And that the community that's here, that's representative of, a handful of people, is actually a community of thousands of people that's all over, the US and multiple countries, because we're all aligned within this framework and this platform that we work in and within. So we are at the bottom of the hour. Thank you for the opportunity to be with each and every one of you. And I look forward to hearing back what you're going to integrate once you've integrated and how it's worked. And if there's anything that I can do to support outside of today's conversation, Zoom with Casey is how you get on my calendar. And
Also, Casey, the last thing I want to say, if anyone wants more of this, the builders call is what they should be on. Is that right?
yeah, the builders call the first and third weeks. We had a very cool interview with a guy named Kevin Kaufman. He and his business partner Fred have done over 4,000 transactions since 2008. They've been with eXp for 7 years. They have an organization of over 2,500 agents. They're based out of Arizona. They're amazing. That was Tuesday's call. For those of you wanting to be in the financial conversation, the Free Friday coaching call this Friday at 11 a.m. is going to be with Matt Plummer, and it is specifically for real estate agents. And we're in a deeper layer of the money, the principles of money, how to use it in your business, and all things money related for freedom and liberty. So that's happening this Friday. You're all invited to that. That's a company agnostic, just, value. And that'll be the topic for this Friday. So you're all welcome there as well.
Janine, can you do a big favor for us? Can you add the builders calls and the Free Friday coaching calls as a reoccurring thing on the 6018 calendar? And let me know if you have any questions on it. You can find it on Empire Builders Pro. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Bye, Casey.
Casey.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, Ann.